All right. Uh, so I am trying to learn how to do. I am trying to learn how to use Boot.Dev. It's something used to use for programming, uh, and the learning curve is a little bit hard because I'm getting stuck in functions. Um, they're not. It's not showing me. It's not showing me any levels of how. It's not easy. So um, I just wanted to go back to like a point to where like I think I'm supposed to um, I think I'm supposed to okay, what's it right here? It says don't touch above this line. So what am I supposed to write? I don't know, but it says don't touch this up here. But we have all these declarations here, all these variables, and I guess what it wants me to do is cut print and make sure it displays this without touching any of this. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I can do that. Okay, print string. No, you don't even need to call it. You don't even need to declare. I mean, you could declare it as a string, but I think what it wants you to do is use all that stupid, all those variables they put up top. So, uh, email start. And yes, I mean, um, your total today was middle email middle. We declared that variable plus total price print. Oh, dollar sign. So you could just write dollar sign, but you could just write a string like dollar sign, but they want you to use these. I think make sure you use the provided variables. Don't use raw strings or numbers. And email end. Run it. Yay. Submit. And we earned some XP. Yay. All right. Good. Just to show you that I'm actually, this is the first time I've used this before, so I'm earning XP. But when we get to the functions part, I'll be going over some things that I haven't really touched. Um, okay, so this is an optimal challenge. You can skip it if you want, but the thing about it is I feel like if we had a stronger um, if we had a stronger feeling, stronger grasp of the fundamentals, maybe we wouldn't be struggling so much. So I'm gonna do these exercises and see if I can figure them out. Um, but I was like, okay, so I don't like sports at all. Anyone who knows me is like I don't like sports. I don't like NBA or NFL or any. I think those are just stupid distractions that people do to distract themselves from the entirety of their lives. So Alan is a loser playing basketball. Uh, he's on an NBA team. Just played a 7 game series in the playoffs. Okay, maybe he's not a loser. uh, he needs help writing a program. I don't know why he would. I don't know why he would write programming if he was a basketball player, but apparently he can try to do this himself with his when he can pay somebody the $1,000 he makes. He's going to try to write it himself. Okay, Mr. Basketball Player. He's gonna write the code. And he says he needs help writing a program that will calculate the average points scored by his team through 7 games using the score variables. Assign the average score to 7 to the average variable. So you want me to write 7? I don't know what the average score is. No. Right. So what is okay? Average score variable. Using the score variables, I guess maybe he scores like a 90, maybe 99 points. A lot of points. Okay, sure. He took 99. That's fine. That's fair. All right, Tim's poem. Tim is working on a program that writes a poem on the console. However, Tim is having trouble getting the poem to print on only 2 lines. Okay, so line 1, line 2. Roses are red, violets are blue. So I guess what you would do is throw these out, obviously. So you would write roses are red, part 1, plus. I mean, I guess you can do this. Right, part 1. Part 1 plus part 2. I don't know why you'd use equals. I have a feeling maybe I'll get an error. I don't know. Part 3 plus part 4. Run. Oh, okay. Let's okay. So I was wrong. It's fine. I could be wrong. Yep. All right. It's okay. It's good to be. It's okay to be wrong sometime, I guess. So yeah, I guess when you're using variables, you want to use the equal sign. Hmm. What did I just do? Was I trying to use a function? And here we are, back to functions. Um, it took me a long time to figure this one out. What R was for, but I'm just going to read it over because um, I'm having a hard time getting through all this. But yeah, I figured out the area of a circle is 1, and R was declared. R was never declared, was it? Okay. Okay, let's see. I don't understand how functions work, so let's let's see if we can figure them out. Okay, so this is I think this yeah this is a function. You define it But yeah, let's just read over this because we don't have a strong grasp on how that works. Because I honestly have like no idea what you're supposed to return. Like, and I don't see R ever even declared in another variable. Okay, functions allow us to reuse and organize code. For example, let's pretend I'm getting a headache. Oh my god, I'm getting a headache. Uh, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. All right, well we're gonna learn this, guys. Oh my head though. Okay, functions. Functions allow us to reuse and organize code. For example, let's pretend we need to calculate the area of a circle. We can use the formula area pi 3.14 uh, and r to the fourth power. And r equals 5, but we never declared it here. Uh, this works great. The problem arises when multiple places in our code need to get to the area of a circle. Okay, okay. We want to use the same code. Why repeat the work? Let's declare a new function, area of a circle. And notice that define word is written before the function name. It tells the computer that you are defining a new function. And but if you don't put anything, it goes back to null, to zero, to none. Um, the area of a circle function makes one input, which can also be called parameter or argument, and returns a single output. We give our function a radius of a circle, and we get back to the area of that circle. We use or call the function. We can pass in any number of the input to capture the output of a new variable. And we have this piece of shit. I'm just a little bit angry. That's all. I'm a little angry that I don't understand what this means. I don't really know what that means. I mean, I see some variables here, right? Variables and area. We print out area. I guess if we were to print out this code, it would 5 in area of a circle, but if area is a circle, okay. Let's talk about how this code step by step. The radius of the value is 5. The area of a circle is called radius. We never declared radius, but okay. The area of circles is executed with R, executed by 2, 5. Result of, this is so fucking boring. Alright, I'm glad I already did it. Okay, let's just go to the assignment. We need to calculate the size of the area around the player that is within their attack range. 1 meter for sword, for example, and the second function call area of a circle, which we didn't do. Let's just look at the solution. Yeah, I did it already. I don't know how I figured that out though. Yay for me. Functions can have multiple parameters, which is just a fancy name for output. Okay, more vocabulary. Inputs, for example, this subtraction function accepts 2 values as parameter A, B. We declare A and B though. We don't need to because we're programmers. And don't touch this line. And this doesn't look correct. Oh, it is correct. What's the solution then? Exactly that. I must have cheated or something. Like sometimes I'll go in these things, but the thing about it is, if you cheat, it gives you an extra shot. It like resets your code and says you can try again. And eventually, I think we're gonna hit a part where, yeah, this is where main was defined, like up here. So that code didn't run. So this was like the lesson where they were saying like you need to define main. You can't call main and then try to define it. You have to put main at the bottom. Yeah, please. Yeah, please. Yeah, that was the assignment they were trying to put on you. Say, hey, it's supposed to be like this. Functions can be defined before they are called. Um, yes, functions must be defined before they call. That's true. Python functions must be defined in order to call on each other. That's true. No, function Python function must be declared in the order they. Okay, function must be defined in the order they are called. They call okay. Functions Python function must be defined in the order they call one another. But I guess that was false. All functions must be defined before they're used. Okay, function practice degrees. Okay, function practice degrees. Conversation formula. I did this already, right? It works. Um, yeah, okay. You had to define. Um, I had a hard time with this one because I tried to declare. Uh, I tried to declare like this, but that didn't work. And I guess when you declared f up here, you can call it down there. That doesn't make any sense to me. Because in order for anything to come up on the screen, it had to be declared. But I'm seeing like I'm seeing R right here. Like I guess you declare it here, and you return it. Yeah, okay. I guess it's declaring here. You declare R here, but I don't really. I guess okay, yeah. Area of a circle. Okay. I think it almost clicked. It almost clicked right here. So you use area of a circle basically times one. So since you go here, you add. Do I need to do that? Now I'm a little curious. If I got rid of this, would it still work? Yeah, it still works. It's fine. Because I don't know why I did two of those, but it didn't break the code, so it's fine. Oh yeah. So the R is declared here, and then it's called, and it's used on this print. Answer the question right. Okay, which keyword is used to create? Okay, we knew that. Yay for me. This I don't actually understand. Which alternative words for functions input? Okay, parameters and arguments. Parameters and arguments. Sounds like my wife, really. She'd always put parameters on where I was allowed to be, and she always had arguments about when I violated those parameters. So I guess my wife was kind of a function. Um, okay, hours to seconds. Yeah, I did this. This was actually something I just had to Google. I don't know if they actually wanted me maybe they wanted me to write something a little more complex. Yeah, they wanted me to write something more complex. Uh, but yeah, I just went to Google and said how many seconds are an hour. What they actually wanted me to write was 6 times 6 times 6. Yeah. Okay. Okay. None return. Yeah. So yeah, this is like an interesting thing that I found out that if you define a function but you don't do anything in it, it'll return nothing. Yeah, it returns nothing. But this one isn't really. Yeah, but this one isn't really. I mean, the function is defined, but it still has something in there. So I'm wondering if you did define a function, I guess it's saying that you did nothing, but you're still doing something. You're still saying I do nothing. Uh, but I'm wondering, was like if you ran the code with just this, I'm pretty sure it would say I do nothing, but that's still saying I do nothing. But if you ran this code with just this, what would it say? It wouldn't say I do nothing. You probably wouldn't run at all. I don't know what a program does when it returns none. None. Maybe it says none, or maybe it says true or false. That's something. Now this one was stupid. I really didn't like this one. There was like no way I could have figured this out, but I figured it out by by going to the solution and figuring it out. But at first it was like, yeah, please, yeah. It tells you like how do you do this? Yeah, first name string, last name string, and then integer. I wonder if I can just yeah, good. But yeah, I was having some trouble because these are declarations. These were all declarations. Yeah, that's weird. Could I have used could I use a comma here? No. You see, it breaks it. It breaks the code. So that's what I was doing. I wrote first name and I apostrophe, last name apostrophe, and I even put like a plus sign here, and it broke the code. So I guess when you're dealing with strings, you have to plus them together, but then when you move to integer, you have to use a separator right here. Now I wonder if I can take this code right here, put it beforehand, put it here, and would it run? It runs. It works. Oh, it says it's wrong. It says it's wrong. Big fucking surprise there. Because I didn't do it exactly the way you wanted to, even though the code runs, even though the code does exactly what it's supposed to, because the way it was written, it was like it said, no, you need to do it our way. You want to give me my points, cheapskates. Yes, run it, even though it does the same thing. It's a great job. How would I know that? How would I know I was supposed to use these stupid apostrophes though? String, string, and an integer. It doesn't say it. It doesn't say that you have to use commas. It doesn't even give you an example of this either. It uses it here, and you have these separators here, and you have separators here on the return. I guess the only example you get is this right here, return, and then comma return. But you saw what it did. If we had declared it like that, it would have said this isn't how you're supposed to write the code. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll give us a. I'm pretty sure if we took this and wrote exactly the way this one is written, it would say no, you can't do that. Let's see. Will the code run? No, it doesn't run. Even though we saw a return here this way. Just stupid, stupid code. Okay. How much time we've been on this thing? Half an hour. Let's see if we can try to make an hour of streaming. Now we're trying to learn an hour of trying to learn Python. And yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever seen me, but this is also how I do my. This is also how I do my study. Like I talk to myself constantly, and it sucks. And it's kind of probably really annoying to a lot of people that are living with me, but maybe somebody might find it entertaining. But here we go. Parameters versus arguments. Um, parameters are the lines used for inputs when defining a function. Arguments are the names of the inputs applied when the function is called. To literate, arguments are actually values that go into the function. Say 42, dark night, or true. Parameters are names we use in the function to define to refer to those values which at the time writing the function could be anything. That said, it's important to understand that this is schematics, and frankly, developers are really lazy with these definitions. You'll often hear words and arguments and parameters used interchangeably. Um, okay, that's great. Yeah, arguments and parameters. Okay, arguments are what I have my wife, and parameters are the rules that my wife assigns to me. I don't know if that's a good if that's a if that's a good like relatation relative indentation of of arguments and parameters, but you know these functions are starting to sound a lot like my wife because she always makes arguments and she always sets up parameters of where I can and can't go. Is that fair? I don't know. Probably. No, it's not fair. And neither is this. Neither are functions. Just like my wife. Blank are values that are passed into a function by the caller. They are. Uh, Arguments are values passed into the function, passed into the husband by the caller. Yes, I often felt like I had a caller. No, arguments are values. You know, these are the values that my wife tried to put on me, passed into the husband by the caller. Oh, arguments? I was right. Okay, and parameters are inputs signified by definition. So basically, the parameters are basically definitions of where my wife wants me to be. So you're allowed to go to these places, but you're not allowed to go to those places. Those are my parameters. and those are being defined. Okay, so the functions are a little bit like my wife. Okay. Uh, well, by the way, she's my ex-wife now, so you can see. Yeah, if I were yeah, if I were if I were saying these things in my bedroom, she would probably come in and start screaming at me. It's like, you're violating those parameters. You're not supposed to talk about me like that. Well, now I can. Now I can. We're divorced now, and now you're collecting most of my paycheck. But guess what? I can scream as much as I want in my house because there's nobody else here. I'm alone, and it's lonely. And I wish I could have sex with my wife still, but I don't know. The juice, was it worth the squeeze? I don't know. I mean, it was worth. I would say the juice was worth the squeeze, but when except she was having sex more than me with other people, so that didn't work. I should have defined my own parameters in arguments. Maybe I would have been having sex more than her. I don't know. Okay, default values are function arguments in Python. Python has a way to specify a default value for function arguments. Okay, Python has a way to specify default value for function arguments. This can be as convenient as this. Okay, this didn't make any this didn't make any sense at all. None of it, because I had okay. So how I would have done that is I would have done this. I would have defined these things, and also had no idea what you were supposed to return. But apparently in both of these things, like let me show you what they say. This is yeah. Go ahead. You get this, and you have like no idea what you're supposed to return, and no clue of what you're supposed to return, because like what I was doing before was I was putting health and armor. Health and armor. Return health and armor. And and then you try to run it, and it doesn't work. But how was I supposed to know? And there's no clues here because I came to that conclusion because I was looking at this. I was looking at these lines, and it was like, okay, health and armor, and and nothing. So yeah. And how was I supposed to know that I was supposed to write? I was supposed to declare. I, w- how was I supposed to know that I was supposed to declare um, these variables within this function? And when I'm told that you're supposed to return what you put, and also how am I supposed to know what you're supposed to return? How do I know? I'm not like maybe this one. I'm supposed to write armor here. Like what happens when I put armor here? It'll probably break the code. Oh, didn't break the code. But that's not what you're supposed to do, right? No, obviously. Yeah, I know that's the way you're supposed to do it. But I had no idea you had to write these two lines of code, and it wasn't really giving me a lot to go off of. But as it's supposed to go, the assignment was that you were supposed to have the person get punched, And I was looking at all this, and I was like, well, wouldn't you? I was like, wouldn't you try to do that wouldn't you try to do that in the right line here? After, yeah, wouldn't you try to like instead of like putting this function here, wouldn't you just like put get punched? Like it tells you not to touch this, but yeah, I couldn't get that. I was like, if I were writing this code, I would just write, I would just write like health plus armor, and then go minus get punched, and that would probably take away the armor. So yeah, I mean you could easily just add armor. You could add armor as a positive here, and then you can deduct you can deduct get punched from the code, and you might get the same thing. But they wanted you to do it this way, so I don't know. They told you not to touch that code, so I was like, I guess I didn't really look at the code last time. I didn't look at this code because there was a big sign. There's a sign. There was a I forget what these are called. I can't remember what they're called. They're called something. And in C sharp we do this, but in here I guess you do the hashtag. Um, you could even sometimes I don't know if you can do this like I think in C sharp you can write slash, and you can write some code here and then times slash, but maybe that's not something that's for C sharp. Maybe it works here. Nope, doesn't look like that. Commenting, commenting. That's what it's called. Commenting. This is I was looking at this comment, so don't touch this. But in all actuality, I could have declared. I could I could have declared um, get punch here as negative 50. Hmm, and just deducted it from here. And I don't even know why armor is even needed. You have these tests here, I guess. In here it shows. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's why you. Okay, so you called it here. So you called it here in these tests right here. So when you call test on these, okay, when you call test here on this definition, you call it again, and you write health, you write health, and you can't call it up here. You have to define it there. Hmm. Also, what I probably would have did is I probably would have taken all this and put this first, and then right here, just so like yeah, because it's just this is meant to. I don't know. This was meant to be easier, or it was meant to distract you. But I would have put all these tests here first, and then wrote all my strings. Well, what time is it? It's. I'm gonna try to string. I'm gonna try to do this for like an hour. All right. Well, I don't know. Yeah, we got this one too. And this one I finally figured out that you're not supposed to use those commas. Uh, yeah, this one I figured out. You're not supposed to use the commas. Problem with get is a function. There's a problem with the get title. Did I already fix this one? Yeah, I fixed it. And what did this look like before? What did this look like before? Yes. Really, that's what it looked like. Huh. How did I fix it then? There's a problem with the get title function. It's supposed to calculate title and return to its caller. Instead of barbarically printing the value of the console, fix the function so it returns title. Oh, yeah. That was. This actually gave me quite the headache. Because I was just like, what do you mean it's not working? No, you're supposed to change like a little bit of code. Instead of it printing, it's supposed to return. And I always thought that when you deal with function, they always had to return something. But I'm also looking at this line of code and it's not returning anything. It still runs. And it's not null. Okay. So after about 40 minutes of reviewing, um, about 40 minutes of reviewing, we're back here at Scope. And we're stuck. We have this YouTube video. We have this YouTube video that is 6 minutes long, and it doesn't make any lick of sense to me. But we're gonna try to read it. We're gonna try to read it and figure it out because it doesn't make sense. Scope refers to where a function. Okay. Scope refers to where a variable or function name is available. What? Oh, okay. Scope refers to where a variable or a function name is available to be used. Okay. Okay. So variables are declarations we make up here, and functions are uh, parameters and parameters and arguments. They're basically like my wife. Just try to remember that. So functions are a lot like my wife. They're full of parameters and arguments. Scope is where and hence that's probably the reason why I think they're so fucking annoying. That's why I couldn't figure them out. Let's see what scopes do, because we got stuck on scopes because we got so frustrated with my wife. I mean, with functions, and because they were full of parameters and arguments, uh, that we didn't know what the hell scope does. So scope refers to where a variable or function name is available to be used. For example, when we create variables in a function, uh, yeah, these are like little rules. And I guess when we do these are variables too. Yeah, okay. Wait, no. I print x. Wouldn't you want to return x? Okay. Yeah, this and I'm not getting this either. Okay, so what you had to do was you had to. Okay, yeah, and I wasn't getting this. I still don't get it actually. Hmm. Then subtract the function is called. I don't get it. Okay, scope refers to where a variable or function name is available to be used. For example, we create variables in a function giving names and parameters. For example, we could use an example. Okay, for example, when we create variables in a function, the data is not available outside the function. When we create variables in a function, data is not available outside that function. Okay. So yeah, I think we talked about that. So if there's data within so if there's data within a function, so we have a function here, and once we return it, I think it now the function is done, and now we have this variable, and so do we have to define max health? But I don't know. So if we define max health and we return nothing, define and return nothing. No, that didn't work. I was just trying that, see if that worked. Let's see what the errors told me. Obviously, there was some wrong lines in define max health, modifier level, unexpected indent. Okay. Maybe that would work. Nope. Okay. When the subtraction function is called, we assign the variable to x. Well, we didn't do that. We didn't assign anything to x. Oh, I think he meant here. Okay. So, okay. We defined it here with a we defined it here with a variable subtract, and we have this, and we have y versus, so we have 2. So we would want to print out we want to print out x. If we print out x, we would just get 2, but we want to print out the results, right? Then again, if we have 5 and 5, maybe we just get -8. But we also, yeah, we declared to subtract. They declared to subtract y plus x and return. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that I don't get. In this one, we're actually timesing. When the subtract is called, we assign x to a variable. So here we have 5 and we have 50. And okay, and here we times these two, which that's going to equal 50. So max health should run 50, but we don't. It doesn't run health. It doesn't write 50, even though it's declared in a variable up here. It calls on the function, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't even know what it's. Find the bug in the code that we're using. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not giving much clues. I'm gonna have to look at the solution. Yeah, I got it. Really? Okay, that. Okay, this was actually useless. There was no reason for this to even be here. This was just a distraction. this doesn't do anything. It was all done in these functions, but then it was called here because the, I couldn't operate anything from here because it was stuck inside the function. I couldn't have access to these ones that I actually needed. So when the code called this, it was like it was stuck inside this fucking function, and I need these variables to actually work this thing. But since I had no access to this because it was stuck here, and I couldn't access it, so it was trying to access it, but it wouldn't tell me that. It wouldn't tell me that. The data didn't tell me that this is what it meant. And there was no clues over here, and there's no clues in this fucking video that I was supposed to actually try to access these pieces of code to get what I wanted. And there's no clues on how, except there's no clues here on the assignment. It said it's all it says there's a bug on line 10, and they're using variable names from the wrong scope. So now, but also we had no idea what the code was supposed to look like when it was done. Like if we were told something like we want the code to go to to add. Well, actually, we don't even know what the code is going to do when it runs. So let's see now we call the variables that are in. Okay, but we also had no declaration of we have this, but I don't. Why did it get called? Why did it times like that? Oh, because the definition was already called here. Okay, okay, okay. Because we called the definition here. We called the definition here. Then we declared it here, and then we put it in here. Get my health. Then we had to ask to use these. So when we call the definition here, we call it here. It says equal to this, and we want to times these two. But this could have been nothing at all. We could have called this dick butt, and it would have done the same thing. This was just meant to just confuse you. And all you were supposed to be doing is declaring. Like, could I put like I don't know, an X and Y, like X and Y. So all you were doing with this function was R. All you were doing with this function was saying that you want to get health to times these two together. So that's what you made this. That's what you made this function for. So we can times two things together. And then here, okay. So we made a function that can times these two together, and then we have these variables. We called it here, say times these two together, and we could have put 5. We could have put a 5 and a 10 here. We didn't have to call them here with a variable. And then in the printout, we finally have max health. Okay. What time is it? I think I'm gonna call it here because this programming is getting really frustrating.